No.
Oh my goodness. Okay, Louise.
Yeah.
Can you believe that we're having this conversation?
No. No, I just can't. In some level, I can because of all the work I've done, and yeah, of course it happened when it happened. Of course, that is when it happened. When I just stopped thinking about it and really just surrendered to everything through your teachings. But yeah, on another level, no, I still can't believe that I'm here. I'm nearly 27 weeks pregnant. I can't
Oh
believe it.
my gosh, 27 weeks. Okay.
27.
So, why don't you start us off by sharing with the ladies listening
Okay.
how you found yourself on this journey and how we met?
Okay. Um, right, okay. So we met when I was at a really, really low point on my journey. So I had a son already at that point. He would have been maybe 3.5. No, sorry, when I met you, he wasn't 3.5. When I met you, he was 6.5. But what happened to me after I had him happened to me when he was 3.5. So I've been trying basically for 5 years to have a second child. I had an ectopic pregnancy that was horrendous when he was about 3.5, 4. After that, we just weren't conceiving again. It wasn't happening, and I couldn't understand why. Just, it had happened twice already naturally. Why was it not happening again? And so I think after that, we tried everything. You go through the big list of all the weird shit that you tried. We tried all the weird shit as well, hundreds of it. Nothing worked. Like thousands of pounds on tablets, traditional Chinese medicine tablets. It's just no, nothing like that was going to work for me. And then we tried a round of IVF because I thought, well, why not? I've tried everything else. Um, and it was just throwing money after money. And I know when it comes down to at the end of the day, everything that we've spent, I'd spend it 100 times over to be in the position I'm in now. But at that time, you're thinking, God, that's another 5, 6, 7,000 pounds that you're having to throw away here, there, and everywhere. So I think everyone on this journey spent a fortune. But we tried it, it didn't work, and I think at that point I couldn't believe that it hadn't worked. I was like, well, this is what's going to get us here. Surely, everything else hasn't worked. IVF's going to work. And I think my husband and I were quite confident because we got right up to the transfer stage. And I couldn't believe it when it didn't take. I just was at a loss. Then I think no. Then I thought, no, I need to do something else. There's something going on up here. I knew there was something going on with my mind. And obviously everyone says this, but it's so true, Roseanne. Obviously what you're Googling on your phone comes up on your Facebook. So then your book came up. And I thought, oh, well, you read it that. So I did. I read it maybe in a couple of days, and then I thought, yeah, I would really like to work with you. So I phoned you, or you phoned me. Sorry, I did the inquiry, spoke to you on the phone, and this is what always cracks me up. After I'd spoken to you, I said, I don't know, I'll need to speak to my husband. I'll need to go away. I'll need to go away and speak to my husband like he is ever going to be the one that makes the decision. He was like, why are you asking me? You're going to do it if you want to do it, so do it. So then I contacted you again, spoke to you again, and I said, I'm ready to do it. I'm going to do it. I want to join your programme. And honest to God, if I hadn't have done that, I wouldn't be here. I would not be here.
Wow.
Without a doubt. Because, I mean, obviously, you learn a lot about yourself. It's not just about the fertility side of things. It changes you as a person doing this kind of coaching. But just the determination after I'd finished. I remember being worried about finishing up with you and thinking, what the hell am I going to do now? But I just got stronger and stronger and stronger after it. And it was like no longer a matter of if, but when. That was
Wow.
what did it for me.
That's incredible, Louise. And I want to back up and ask you about something because this comes up a
Yeah.
lot. And
Okay.
I think that you're so I don't believe in coincidences. This came up for a reason. So and I think it's a topic that women need to hear more about because you knew you wanted to do the program,
Mhm.
but you use the let me talk to my husband thing. I would love it if you would share what was going on in your mind because he said it himself. He's like, "You're going to do it. Why are you asking me?" But there was a part of you that needed to ask him. So let's talk about that because so many women find themselves in a place where they either feel paralyzed or they don't feel like, they need somebody to approve or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But I want to know what it is from you and from your unique perspective.
So now I remember when we did the coaching, when you asked me questions like this, I would never know, but now I do. I absolutely categorically know. I think at that point, I thought, I'm not worth this. This is too much money to spend on me and my dream. This is not worth it. I'm throwing more money away, which is ridiculous. And I see that so clearly now, but I was in a really dark place, Roseanne, really dark place when I came to you. And I just remember thinking, shit, I don't know if I can make this decision myself. I mean, at that point, I was 41 years of age, do you know what I mean? And I'm thinking, I need to ask permission, which is not something, it's not the relationship we have at all. And I'm sure most of your ladies don't have that relationship with their partners or husbands or whatever, but I don't know, I needed that kind of backup and just it's okay, the go ahead. I needed the go ahead from him. I don't know why.
Mm.
I don't know
Well,
why.
I
I know I'm worth it now.
well, you're totally you were born worth it, Louise,
I
but
know, I know.
I think it's interesting though to recognize that within yourself and have compassion for it, right? Like we're not here to make it wrong. It's just it's funny how your husband saw you and trusted you to make your own decisions, but at the time in that dark place you were in, you didn't.
I didn't. I really didn't. I really didn't. And Stuart's a lot more. He's more of a realist than I am, I suppose. So everything that happened to us, he would be saying, "Oh, I don't know. Let's not get our hopes up," and he would always kind of bring me back down. And I think with the IVF, I was really convinced that was going to be it, and he's going, "I don't know. I don't know." Even my attitude when I remember you saying to someone on the podcast, when that box comes through of all the the drugs that you've got to inject, open that box like it's Christmas fucking day. And that is the best thing that you've ever received, right? And see when we get that box, Roseanne, I remember screaming at him, going, I can't believe I need to do this. I need to put this shit into my body. I don't want to do it. So I went into it with a stinking attitude. Like it was never going to work.
Wow.
Never going to work. And I can see all that so clearly now.
Wow. Well, so then, okay. So I think it's also interesting to ask, what is it that lets you know that your mind needed attention, Louise? Because you could have easily blown it off and said,
Yeah.
well, we spent thousands of pounds on these tablets and
Yeah.
IVF and it didn't work. And, why the hell is this going to work for me? Like, what was it for you that said, you know what, I have to do this? Because it's different for every woman. And I'm curious what it is for you.
Yeah, it's how you talk about blocks, like there's a block or something going on in the mind. I didn't really realise there was a lot of that going on with me until I started on your program and we worked through every module, and then I was like, yeah, I need to work on that. I need to work on all of it. But I don't know. I think I just was so depressed and so down after that didn't work because I thought IVF was a golden ticket. And after that didn't work, and and I'm sure it is the golden ticket for many, many people. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with going down that route, but it just didn't work for us. And after that, how down I was, I thought, no, that there's something going on up here. There's something that's not right because I'm quite an upbeat, kind of happy person, and I just wasn't. I was really, really down, like crying every day. Just couldn't understand this was happening to us, you know, why is it happening to us? And everyone else around me is getting pregnant, no bother, and having 2 and 3 children, and I'm struggling to give my son a sibling. I just couldn't understand it. And it wasn't even like I'd got pregnant again naturally after that ectopic pregnancy, just nothing was happening. And we had loads of tests done. And then that's when I get the fabulous diagnosis of low AMH, which, you know, no one's ever heard of. No one's heard of that till they go for tests. And then you spend a fucking year Googling, what does low AMH mean? Am I going to be able to have, you know, and oh my God. Oh, so yeah, it just opens a can of worms and you go deeper and deeper into the depression and, oh, I don't know. But I think because I was Googling so much and in the middle of the night and everything, I thought, no, there's something wrong with my mind. I don't know what I'd looked up or what my phone had listened to, because it definitely does, for your book to pop up. And then I thought, yeah, this is meant to have happened. I'm meant to have read this book.
Wow.
And
Wow.
read them all, love them all. I'm even reading your, I'm going back over your Fearless Pregnancy book now. So I'm halfway through that for the second time. That's really helped me. Really helped me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, so why don't you share a little bit about what you started to learn about yourself? Because, you know, it's sometimes on this journey, we just get stuck in the darkness,
Yeah.
right? Like you were talking about.
Yeah.
So what did you start to notice changing within you as you were starting to go through this material?
Well, lots of things. I stopped taking shit from people. You know, I've always been quite mouthy anyway, so I've never been quiet and shy, but just I would put up with a lot of shit from people, and I just don't do it now. It's like that, the velvet rope that you talk about. You just take yourself away, or you kindly, you know, ask people not to do this, that, or the next thing. So there was a lot of that. I managed to put boundaries in place with people. The biggest thing for me, Roseanne, and this is what I really wanted to talk about today, was listening to my intuition. Was not something that I was really able to do at all. And now it's like the first thing I listen to is the first voice. So when I found out I was pregnant, I knew it was going to be a girl. Everyone else around me said to me, no, it's not, it's going to be another boy. We're looking at the scan photos, everyone's saying it just looks like your wee boy. Why are you doing a gender reveal? This is another boy, blah, blah, blah. I'm going, it's not. It's a girl. Definitely a girl. I even know her name. And we found out it's a girl. And her name came to me in meditation. Honestly. Came to me in a meditation.
Holy cow.
Depends if you buy into that or not. Obviously, you know, I'm a yoga teacher. I'm mega into all of that anyway, the spiritual side of things, but I couldn't tune into my own inner voice until I did this work. And then the surrender, the just going, do you know what? It's up to you now. I've done everything else that I can do. I'm not going to regret if I don't. After doing your program, I wasn't going to regret anything because I'd tried it all. And I thought, well, I've been down this path. This is the most important path for me. And surrendered, and that was it. But what I will say, another thing I did, after, and I think I spoke to you about this, maybe when I was on a couple of weeks ago with you, I didn't do anything to do with diet or lifestyle. I didn't change any of that because I thought that was just all nonsense. And so I found this program, if you like. I started in January, and it was like conceiving naturally over 35. And basically this whole transformative program that I did. So it was a lifestyle detox, cutting chemicals out your home, changing diet. And I would never have said, oh, I'm going to cut out gluten for 6 months, or I'm going to stop eating meat or whatever, because I just thought it was all crap. And I did it, and was pregnant 4 months after that. But I would not have looked for that program had I not worked with you. I wouldn't have been so insistent And I just wasn't stopping until I was pregnant. There was nothing stopping me. I just kept going.
Wow. I mean, this is massive, Louise.
Yeah,
This is really
yeah,
massive
yeah.
because you're talking about a complete attitude change.
Oh, completely.
You are getting out of this dark place and
Hmm.
getting out because like so many women get stuck in this idea that they have to be right. Like,
Yeah.
of course that's nonsense. I'm not changing anything. Not like there's anything wrong with you, but like our minds get really
No,
closed.
they do.
And when you started to change and change the way you think, all of these
Hmm.
opportunities open up
Aha.
and you're able to see things in a different way and allow yourself to get out of your own way because that's the
Hmm.
thing. Like, I mean, essentially by detoxing and doing these other cool things, like you're absolutely right because the mindset precedes all that. But
Yes.
in order to be in that place where you could be open to those things, you had to think in a completely different way.
Oh, 150%. I just
Wow.
wouldn't have. I wouldn't have thought I was worth it. I wouldn't have thought my dream was worth it. I'd have probably given up. I'd have probably been sad forever. You know, I can't hammer it home enough how much it changed my entire mindset, all of it. Just,
Wow.
it has been life changing for me. It really has. And I think for everyone that works with you because it's a big deal taking that deep dive into yourself and saying, well, you know, I need to work on this. And it's quite a humbling experience as well, isn't it? To say I need to work on
Yeah.
that.
Well, having done the work myself, I promise you it's
Yeah.
freaking humbling, but it's like but it's also like it's also freeing because look at what
Yes.
happened. Like you also went from a place of maybe not listening to your intuition to being
Yeah.
deeply connected to it,
Hmm. Hmm.
knowing that you're having a girl when everybody
Hmm.
else and the scans are telling you otherwise. Like here
Yep.
you are. I mean,
I know.
so that's fascinating, Louise. So
Hmm.
so it sounds like you you had the ectopic pregnancy, you did the
Hmm.
IVF, it didn't work out. You start to do this work on your mindset. Then in January you did this detox thing which is fantastic. And so tell us, I mean, well the cat's already out of the bag. You're pregnant, but like so tell us
Yeah.
how all that happened because I'm sure like everyone's like tell us how it
Yeah.
happened. So
Yeah.
how did it happen for
So
you?
I think I've heard you talking about this, or we've talked about this. A lot of your ladies are pregnant within a year of finishing up, and I was pregnant just shy of a year finishing up with you. So what happened was I continued on with all my practices that we did. So I had my vision board. On my vision board, I was going to be on here with you at 25 weeks pregnant, nearly 27. So there we go. Get my vision board. Everything was pink on it as well. I still journal every day. I meditate anyway, and I keep all this going and doing the spiritual, like the reading the spiritual texts. I do all that, and that's really helped me. But what did you ask me there? I went off on a tangent.
Oh no, no, no. You got pregnancy brain, girl.
So I
So
have total baby brain.
so
No, how did it happen? So yeah, so I think at that point, after I'd done the detox and everything, we decided to go on a family holiday. I know this is so cliche, everyone says it, but we went on holiday with some friends, and when I was on holiday, I didn't think that I was pregnant, but I was a bit like, my period's late. I don't know what's going on. And I'm getting to that age. Well, actually, I don't know. I don't know that I really believe in perimenopause. I think you're in the menopause or you're not, but that's another story. So I just was thinking it was late or whatever. Said to my husband, and he's like, "Oh, well, we'll find out when we go home." So we went home. I think I waited a wee bit longer to do a test. I was meditating one morning and I heard the words clear blue in my meditation. Honest to God, honest to God. And it's not a brand that I would have bought. It's not a pregnancy test brand that I would have bought. So I thought, shit, I better order some of these. Ordered them and did the first one. It came up positive straight away after me doing these for 5 years, all negative all the time, nothing happening. First one came up positive. My legs buckled at this point. I had to sit down. And then I did the other one to tell me how many weeks I was. So, and I just couldn't believe it. And I think that's when I took a picture of the pee stick and sent it to you in the bathroom. It was like, right, the first people I want to tell are Roseanne. I don't even know. I told my husband, that's a lie. I had told my husband. And I thought, I'll need to send you a picture of it. I know. It's brilliant, isn't it? I know you like getting pee stick pictures. So there we go. I actually couldn't believe it. And it took me, I mean, I believe it now, but I think the first 3 months, I just still couldn't believe it. I was like, I can't fucking believe this has happened.
I mean, it's crazy, Louise, because think about it. Like,
I know.
So you went from trying after your son was 3.5,
Yep.
nothing was going on, ectopic
Had the ectopic.
pregnancy,
Yep.
and then you do IVF, didn't really want to do that, didn't work, changing your mindset, doing this, all the cool things to take all the toxins out of your
Yes.
life. You keep up with your mindset work, and you're pregnant naturally.
Yep. 42. I'm 43 now, but at 42.
Wow.
And I think it's the mind and the body working together in that way, isn't it? It's you say the mindset precedes the I'm going to do this other work on my body. Maybe for some people they do the work on the body first and then they do the mindset, but I wouldn't have done it that way because I know myself and I know myself really well, and I'd have been like, that's a lot of shit. So I had to change what was going on up here to be able to receive that goodness, and
Oh
go,
my.
yeah, I need to do that. Yep.
I mean, it's insane to me because, Louise, you could have bought into the idea, well, my AMH is low, I have a failed IVF. Like, what reason do I have to believe
I know.
that I could get and stay pregnant naturally? Like, at this old age of 42, and, now you're 43, you'll be 43 when you give birth. I mean, like,
Yep.
wow.
I saw a fertility specialist this time last year, nearly a year ago to the day, and he said to me, and why is it always older men? I know this is really rude as well, but it's always men in their 60s, isn't it, that tell you this stuff? Well, Louise, you're low AMH, your age. He said you'll just need to keep rolling the dice and seeing what happens. Just keep rolling the dice. And I came out of that appointment. I know that was the last person I saw because I've seen loads. That was the last person I saw, and I thought, I'm going to prove him wrong. And there we go. I did.
I hope you drive by that clinic.
I know. Have a wee wave.
With your bump and be like, oh, here we go,
Here we go.
My baby girl and I are just driving by. I mean, it is fascinating to me, Louise, like what happens for a woman. I mean, because if we back up the bus a little bit, it all started with you making the decision that you were worth it.
Definitely.
You were worth the trouble. You were worth the investment. You were worth changing your diet. You were worth detoxing. You were worth, all of the resources that are needed to support you in this process. You were willing to do what it took, even if it felt silly, right? Yeah. You essentially bucked the trend, because think about it, like, it's so easy to give up. Like, giving up is the easy shit, right? Yeah. So what was it in you that said, I'm going to keep going? Because there's temptation coming from every direction, Louise, trying to get us to give up. Yeah. Why didn't you give up?
Because your program made me a determined bugger. It just made me made me so determined. I was like, I'm strong. I can do this. I've been through the mill on this journey. I'm not giving up for shit. And also, it's listening to that voice again, because I knew there was another baby for our family. I knew there was. And it wasn't going away, Roseanne. It just wasn't going to be one of those things that I could try and ignore. Or my son's been asking as well since he was 4. Am I going to have a brother or sister? Am I going to have a brother? So he knew as well. And he kept reminding me by asking me all the time.
Mm.
And I thought, yeah, this is definitely, it's not even pursuing, it's just not giving up for shit. I just couldn't give up. I
Wow.
just knew I couldn't.
Well, I like to think that the program brought out what was already
Hmm.
there.
Oh,
I
it
mean,
did. It definitely did.
she just needed to be dusted off, hosed off a
She
little bit,
was.
and reminded who she is. I mean, and so, you also mentioned something about surrender
Hmm.
that I think is fascinating.
Yeah.
So I would love it if you would share just a little bit about what surrender looked like for you, because so many
Ooh.
women talk about wanting to get to that place but don't quite understand it, and it's different for everyone. But I thought it'd be super cool to hear from you. What
Yeah.
was that for you, and how did you know that you had surrendered?
Well, you get these annoying people, Roseanne, that say to you, if you just calm down, it'll happen when it's meant to happen. Or if you just stop thinking about it, it'll happen when you least expect it. No, it won't. No, it won't, because that is not what it means. I think surrender for me was admitting to myself that I have done everything that I can do, being happy with what I'd done, accepting that this urge or this desire in my heart, like you always say, the desire in your heart is there for a reason. It's there for a reason. And I started to really not buy into it, really believe it was there for a reason, because it was there, because it is there for a reason. And so I remember just thinking, no, that this is, the time has come. I've done enough. I now just need to leave it in the hands of God, Gus, God, universe, source, whatever you believe in. But there is obviously something going on up there that's much bigger than all of us. And I think I just started reading more about surrender as well. So I read the two Michael Singer books. The Surrender Experiment was really good for me. In fact, that was a great book for me. I would recommend that to anyone doing this. Um, but yeah, I think it was just being able to let go, just stop gripping on so tightly, and just accepting that I had no control at all when it was going to happen. So I wanted to get pregnant 2 years ago on the whatever day, and that's not when it's going to happen. It's going to happen when the universe and the baby decide that it's going to happen. It's not up to me. And that was a big thing. Being able to just
Wow.
say, come when you're ready. Come when you're ready, because I can't force that. So, and I spoke to my baby all the time as well. I remember you saying you did that with your son. I spoke to my baby all the time as well. And I felt nuts at the start, but then it was just like second nature. Well, I know you're coming. I know you're coming. Just come when you want. Come when you're ready. And it's so weird thinking back on it all now. But yeah, I had to do all the wee tiny steps I did to get here. It had to happen that way.
I love that. I love the funny and, humble way that you share that, because it surrender, people think that giving up is surrender, and it's not,
No,
because
no,
you never let go of the desire. Like,
no.
the desire is strong, but it's something more than wanting. It's expectation, because you kept
Yes.
talking to her. You kept
Yeah.
speaking life to her, and gave up the need to control, but that doesn't mean that you weren't clear that she
Yeah.
was coming. And I think that that's the part that people miss, is that the surrender comes from doing the work, because there's no way that you would have been able to surrender at the level that you did if you hadn't addressed what was going on up here, because what was up here is not surrender. Like, that's
No.
control,
Yeah.
that's pushing and forcing.
Fear.
You Yeah,
Loads of
yeah.
fear. And the lack in scarcity as well.
Oh,
You talk about that all the time. Oh my God. There's not enough babies. I can't have my baby because all these people have had another baby. There's not one for me. What a lot of shit. It's just, the things that went through my mind during that time are Oh, they're awful when I think back on it now. Seeing someone pushing a pram or a stroller, as you guys would say, and I couldn't watch and just, oh, and that was the first thing that happened to me when I did your program. I started to be able to look at pregnant people again. I started to get happy when I heard people were having babies. I was able to look at prams. So all of that went really quickly for me, which was, oh, a godsend, because it was ruining my life. It was actually ruining my
Wow.
life. And that
Wow.
disappeared very quickly with doing the program.
Wow.
So,
It's incredible, Louise, and I couldn't be happier for you. I couldn't be more proud of you and happy
oh,
for you because I know what it took for you to trust yourself, because that's the other thing is, in order for you to be where you are today, 27 weeks pregnant, not only did you have to believe you were worth it, you had to trust yourself at a level you probably never trusted yourself before.
mhm,
And look at the payoff. I mean,
I know.
look at all of the things that you are going to be able to teach your son, teach your daughter,
Hmm?
and literally change the way that your family lives, because you were able to see and have a vision that was bigger than the current circumstances, because so many people get caught up in the current circumstances
Yeah.
and they can't see beyond that. And you're such an amazing example of what happens when you do. So well done.
Thank you.
Yeah,
and
well,
you know,
so
and you
oh,
know,
go ahead. Go
one of
ahead.
the one of the things that I have done, I've taken really well into my life, and I practice a lot now, is receiving. So the receiving thing was so hard as well, right? So I'm about to finish up for my maternity leave. So I had my second last classes last night, and one of my group of students, yoga students, gave me a gift voucher. And normally I would say, "Oh, you shouldn't have done that. No, 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 no." Whereas now I went, "Oh, that's lovely. Thank you very much. I'm really really happy." Do you know? And it's the whole not thinking you're worth it, isn't it? It's thinking, "I don't deserve that. Why are you giving me that?" You know. But
Wow.
I can receive, and I love it now. I'm just like, yes, of course I'm worth that. I'll take the voucher. Love that big bunch of flowers you bought me. Thank you. That's really kind. Why not? Why not? Because I do it for people, and I'm happy to give people things. So I should be happy to receive as well. And that was
Oh,
a huge, huge learning curve for me. I remember before I started your program, there was another resource that you had. It was, I can't remember now what the program was called, but it was something I did to kind of start me off. And it was your best year yet or something. Is that what it is?
yeah, yeah,
One of
exactly.
one of the mini one
Mhm.
mini programs. And see, when I started reading through all of that, like, change all your underwear, like empty all your underwear out and buy all new underwear, or have fresh flowers everywhere, or there was loads of things in it. And I remember thinking, I don't do any of this shit for myself. And why am I not? Why am I not doing this? Like, so buy new pants, Louise, you're worth it. Well, you
You That's probably also why you're pregnant, because your
underwear.
husband was
Yeah.
tired of looking at your broken down old pants.
maybe, maybe.
I love it. I love
I
it.
know.
Well, so
So many
okay,
things.
it's so good. Well, so you have to share, because I love to ask, like, if
Okay.
you remember back to the woman that you were back before when you were just a listener, because now you're a guest on this podcast. Oh, there was 100,000 years ago when you were a listener. What would you say to, as the woman you are today, to the
Mhm.
woman that was just a listener? What would you want her to know?
Exactly what most of your other ladies say. If I can do it, you can do it. It's not impossible. There's nothing about this that's impossible. But when you're in that deep dark place and you're starting off, I mean, I think I did start at number one on the podcast. I've read them, I've listened to them all. And in fact, I've just listened to your 250th. So huge congratulations on that, Roseanne. Amazing. Oh, it's so nice to hear everyone on that, and a few that I know. Um, I would say, if I can do it, you can do it. Just and if you're hesitating at all, about signing up to work with you, don't, because it'll be the best decision you've ever made.
Oh,
Wholeheartedly mean that. The best
gets me
decision you'll
right in
ever
the
make.
heart. Gets me
I
right in the
know,
heart.
me as well. Me as well. I still miss it. I still miss the calls, the coaching calls. I loved it. Absolutely
Oh
loved it.
my gosh.
And I
Well,
was so
well,
embarrassed about it at the start.
oh my goodness, you became a pro, and
I
the
know,
coolest
I know.
thing ever, like you're gonna be one of the first people to find out about this, is Fearlessly
Ooh.
Fertile is having a world tour next year. So I am making a concerted effort. We will drive from London to Edinburgh. I will hug you and that baby. So you don't have to miss much for long, girl. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Oh, I hope you do. I hope you do. That'll be amazing. Well, remember, I'm Glasgow, but I can get to Edinburgh, so don't you worry. If you're there, I'll be there. Oh,
Oh shit! I'll
Suzanne, that'll
drive
be
to
amazing.
Glasgow. I'm not worried about
Nah,
that. I'll get
no.
yeah. I'll figure it out. Don't even
I'm,
sweat
I'm
it.
in I'm in the Central Belt. I'll meet you somewhere. Oh, I would love that. Oh, you should do a tour. It's ridiculous to me. See, when I was listening to that, your 250th episode, you literally can't. You've not got enough time to speak to them all because there's so many success stories through your
Well, yeah,
program.
and we
It's insane.
and we couldn't even get everyone on because people had pre-existing,
Yeah,
plans, and we were trying to work everything in, and it's the holiday.
yeah.
It was insane. But I was like, okay, just take
Oh,
a little bit of this, and then like
yeah.
for 500 episodes, we'll have everyone back again, and it'll be like a full day episode probably. But
Oh,
so
so
well,
good.
thank you so much, Louise. I mean, what a blessing you are, and how kind and generous you are to share with women all over the freaking world that are going to listen to this, and you're giving them, just truth that they need to hear, and to
Yeah.
be reminded of that they are worth it, and
Mhm.
that if you can do it, they can do it, and trust yourself, trust your intuition. I mean, so
Mhm.
many bombs you dropped here, woman, so many gold nuggets. I mean,
Oh,
it's fantastic. So thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing this time. And I just can't wait to see pictures of that baby when she's born.
oh, I'll send them to you. Don't you worry. I'll send you them. Lots of pink, lots of bows. Knew I was right. Knew I was right.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much, Louise. Go have a happy
Thank
holiday,
you.
my darling. Hug that precious
Thank
husband
you.
and son of yours, and
I
we'll be in
will.
touch.
Thank you so much, Suzanne. Thank you for everything. Take care.
Love this episode of the Fearlessly Fertile podcast? Subscribe now and leave an awesome review. Remember, the desire in your heart to be a mom is there because it was meant for you. When it comes to your dreams, keep saying hell yes.